Guardian Skulk. This is Guardian Skulk Gaming, bringing you some more content on Dyson Sphere Program. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little series here where we go through each different kind of building and give just a little rundown of what it does. This is probably as much for you as it is for me to just get a better understanding of what each building is doing and how to kind of best use them. So probably be a bunch of short videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to talk about wind turbines. They're your first kind of power generation that you're going to use. They're infinite. There's no, like, the wind never runs out. Depending on what seed you're playing, you can get lucky. This is my second planet, which has 150%, so it means that they're 50% better than anywhere else. My first planet was only 100%. It fluctuates. It'll depend on what seed you're playing. But basically, this is what you're going to kind of start off with for power generation. They take 6 iron ingots, 1 gear, and 3 magnetic coils. So you're going to need copper and iron. You're going to run around, you're going to mine it by hand to start with, and you're going to plunk one down beside your miners. Now, they produce, on a normal 100% planet, 300 kilowatts of power. It's a decent power starting. They're not that difficult to make. They do have to be spaced in a certain distance from each other. They cannot be too close, or else it just won't let them. And you can see they create a circle of power, so anything inside that circle will be powered, and they connect to other things as you move them around. Now you can see here that I have very specifically not connected these 6 to the rest of my power grid. So this is done on purpose. This is to prevent what I consider cascading power failure. So if you're running well, you're at 100% satisfaction, life's good, you're making your coal at whatever the maximum rate is, your little grabby arms are moving coal at the maximum rate, everything's working at maximum. Now if you had your plants all maxed out, you did the math, you can make 216 coal per minute. These take 10 each. They use whatever it is, 1 per whatever. I haven't done the math yet. We'll get into that later. Everything's hunky-dory. But if as you're building, let's say you put down a whole bunch of buildings, you're building a new processing plant for something, and you then you go over 100%. You're now at you're using like 110% of your power. Well, what that means is that 10% of your machines can't get power all the time, or that all of your machines have to run at 10% less efficiency to be able to run it all. So what happens is your coal plant is now making 10% less coal, and your arms are moving 10% less coal into the machines, which, if you've maxed everything out, means that 10% of your power plants now can't get enough coal, which means that they're going to fail. And if 10% of your power plants fail, then you're going to go from being only 10% overburdened to 20 to 30 to 40. I've gone to the point where I was down to 20% power efficiency because the cascading failure just kept getting worse and worse. Now, a way that you can prevent that, or at least try and minimize that, is by having these wind generators attached to only your mining machines, not the rest of your grid. So that means that if you overburden your main grid, your mining machines will still run at 100% efficiency because they're just using the wind power, which means that you'll always have the right amount of fuel coming out to your coal generators, and if you do get a failure, it's going to be mitigated. It's not going to be this thing where it gets worse and worse and worse and worse unless you build more and more buildings without actually dealing with the problem. But this will save you a ton of headache later on by just having this kind of backup mini grid that's not connected to anything else. You have to get a little bit creative in where you position things so that that grid never touches anything else when you're placing other things. But a lot of the times, like, you've got a lot of extra room that you're probably not using. And it's worth it to take up this extra space with wind turbines to protect your power generation. Wind is far more reliable than solar, since solar only works part of the day, unless you have actuators and things like that, but we'll talk about those in another video. But yeah, that's wind turbines. They're a great starting power source. They're infinite, they never run out, and they're great late game as a backup to make sure that your other power generation structures continue to work even if you overburden your power grid. Well, I hope that helped you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good day.